Hello, Mishpacha, it's Courtney, America's Jewish mother. I am here today with my May TBR, and just like March, there are a lot of events going on BookTube in the month of May, so I'm sure I'm not going to get to all of them, but I am going to dip my toe in a few. So first, I have several buddy reads that are slated for the month of May. Two of the books I'm planning on buddy reading I'm going to get as ebooks from the library, so I don't have a physical copy to show you, but one of them is Bluebird by Attica Locke, which I will be reading with Roz of Scallydandling about the books, which I'm very excited about. I'm also excited because I've heard good things about this series, most recently from Kim at Middle of the Book March and a bunch of other people who were supposed to be reading that book together, but it was so good that Kim just raced through and finished it really quickly. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to read that book, and I'm also very excited to read it with Roz because it's going to be our first buddy read. So that is happening. I will also be reading Danielle Evans' short story collection, The Office of Historical Corrections, with Lindsay of Lindsay's Book Life. I'm also quite excited about this collection, one, because I love any time that I get to do a buddy read with Lindsay because it's great, but also I'm excited about this collection because I recently heard Hannah of Hannah's Books give it a very positive review, so that made me even more intrigued than I already was. I'm also planning to buddy read Audre Lorde's Zami, A New Spelling of My Name, with Scott of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. And I don't really know anything about this book except that it is called a BioMythography. So I'm not sure if that means it's going to be autofiction or what, but I guess I'll find out, and Scott and I will see. And then the last buddy read that I'm planning on doing, well, I'm planning on starting in May. We will not finish this in May. Is I will be buddy reading Ralph Waldo Emerson's Essential Writings, a giant brick tome of a book, with Karen Evans. So we're going to start this in May. We will not finish it in May, but we will start it. And this is my second of two project books that I wanted to complete this year, the first being Moby Dick, which I've already finished reading with Melissa of Fully Booked. And actually, you know, I worked in another project book too, because I read The Count of Monte Cristo with a group of ladies, and that was hosted by Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cat. So this is actually going to be my third project book of the year. So definitely looking forward to this. We're going to take it at a slow pace because Emerson can be quite dense, and even though I've read a few of these pieces before for a graduate seminar and also for my comprehensive exams in American Pragmatism. It's been a while, and again, Emerson's quite dense, so we want to just sort of slow down and try to savor it. So looking forward to this. The next event that I will be participating in May on BookTube is Springathon. This is hosted by Doris at Aldi Books, Heidi at My Reading Life, and a number of other channels, but I'll at least link one of them down below so you can find out more information about that. And all you have to do for Springathon is read one nature-related book. That's it. That's all you have to do. And there is a group book, something about mushrooms, and there are also prompts that go along with it, so I'm going to do one of the prompts, which is Bloom Decay. So the Emerson actually works out quite nicely for this because the first piece in this collection is nature, and nature is in bloom, especially right now because it's springtime. And then for the decay prompt, I am going to read A.R. Ammons' poem Garbage. So this is a volume that I read in a graduate seminar on poetry, but it's been quite a while back and I really don't remember much about it, but it is a volume that I would like to revisit. And this is just one single long poem about garbage. So yes, decay. So that's my Springathon pick for the Bloom Decay prompt. I also want to participate in Maybe Midrash. This is hosted by Steve Donahue, Lukasha Core Reader's Thesis, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, and probably a couple other people. I'll link at least one of them down below. So for this event, you read one fiction and one nonfiction, both of which seriously treat the subject of religion in some way. So for this, I will be rereading Marilynne Robinson's novel Gilead, which I first read in a graduate seminar back in 2010 and quite liked, but I have not revisited again since. So I'm definitely looking forward to rereading this novel, which is about, I think most people know, this is about the Reverend John Ames. So it does deal with religion from a Christian standpoint. And then the book that I'm going to pair it with is going to be Pirkei Avot, Chapters or Ethics of the Fathers, which is a Jewish Talmudic text. So this will be interesting to, I think, compare against Gilead. So I'm going to read these two books, and somehow I'm going to synthesize them. Not sure how that's going to go, but it's going to happen. So, and then the last, I think this is the last thing. Yeah, the last thing I'm going to be participating in the month of May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So the month of May in the United States is designated as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So for that, I will finally be getting to this anthology of Asian American writers that I hauled last year, Aiiieeeee, an anthology of Asian American writers. So this is edited by Frank Chin. It originally came out, you can see this is the 3rd edition. This book was originally published in the 70s, and it was quite influential at the time because I think it was the first anthology that treated Asian American literature as its own distinct, basically as its own distinct subject, right, that had its own unique qualities and characteristics, just like, say, African American literature does. And the title, Aiiieeeee, is taken from old kung fu films where an Asian character, used to come in and say, Aiiieeeee. So yeah, the sort of reclamation of that word. So anyway, so I'm definitely looking forward to this because this will give me an overview of several different writers and their work. So hopefully I will find some new writers in here that I'm not already familiar with and that I enjoy, so I can check out even more of their work. I will also, for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, be reading Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu, which I recently hauled, and I don't really think I need to say much about this because it won the National Book Award last year, and it's been all over BookTube. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this. And then the last thing I will be reading, which actually sort of, I guess, coincides with Asian American Heritage Month, is Remember Me to Lebanon, and this is my pick for my own Arab American literature project, where every month this year I read one book written by an Arab American writer. So these are stories that are written by Evelyn Shakir, who I've talked about before on this channel as a pioneer in the study of Arab American literature, again, as its own distinct field with its own qualities and characteristics, just like African American or Asian American or Native American literature. So she conducted a number of interviews with Lebanese immigrant women to the United States, and then there was a nonfiction book that she published based on those interviews, and then she also wrote these fictional stories based largely on those interviews. And I have read one story out of here before, and I've taught that story before and plan to teach it again this summer. So I'm looking forward to finally reading this whole collection. So that's everything. Let me see if I can hold up the big pile. One of these is going to be backwards because it's the Jewish text is printed from right to left, so it's going to look backwards. Let's see. Put Emerson on top here. All right. Okay, there we go. So there's the big pile, minus 2 ebooks I will be getting from the library. So that's everything I want to read in May. If you have thoughts about any of these books, I would love to hear that. Let me know what you're planning on reading for Springathon, for maybe Midrash, for Asian American Heritage Month, or anything else. Thank you for watching this. I hope everyone is staying healthy and well. I hope you're doing good reading whatever you're reading. And until next time, would it kill you to call your mother?